Hey everybody, Joy here. Joy with the red blouse and my pumpkin top. And I'm going to tell you some sewing stuff. Can you believe it? I haven't had much time for sewing. We've been getting repairs done and bugs sprayed and dirt moved on the dam, and I've been packing. If I didn't have the camera set up just so, you'd see boxes everywhere. But I am going to take the rest of the day, which isn't very long. I think it's already 2:30, and it is October 4, 2024. It's a Friday. And the rest of today, maybe tomorrow, I'm going to sew. I haven't been able to, like I said, because so much has been going on. There have been people coming and going all week. We had some water damage by one of the broken air conditioners. It filled up with water and went down the wall into a closet downstairs. And so my precious, wonderful, darling, adorable, amazing, I'm not even sure he's a real man. I think he's an angel that God sent here, and he plays like he's my nephew. His name's Jeffrey, and he can do absolutely everything. And he didn't want Uncle Jerry down on the floor having to deal with that whole mess. So he and his construction friend named Jason came, and Jeffrey's wife, my niece Felina, came, and they were here for a whole day the other day, and they totally fixed that. Jerry worked on it the whole day the day before and ripped out everything that needed to be ripped out except for the stuff that had to be cut. And so then Jeffrey and Jason completely repaired that closet. Oh, yes, we paid them, but still, where are you going to find somebody, number one, that's going to do it perfect, number two, going to show up the next day, number three, going to stay until it's all done, number four, give me all the hugs I want, and just thank you God for my nephew, Jeffrey. All right, so that's done. So now I'm alone, up here in my room, at the other house. You know, when we're in mounds, I've got to go upstairs, downstairs, this room, that room, and the other room. When I'm here, I can just stay up here so I can get a lot more sewing done. So let me show you first what I did this morning. I put on my new pumpkin blouse. The embroidery design is called Rosemaling Pumpkin. It's from emblibrary.com, Embroidery Library. It's called Rosemaling Pumpkin. This is the biggest size. They give you 3 or 4 different sizes. This is the biggest size. It was 70% off the day I bought it, something like that. So I decided I wanted a pumpkin on something, and I didn't have anything up here to put pumpkin on. So I decided to whip up a blouse real quick and put a pumpkin on it. V-neck is a little tricky because, you know, you end up sometimes with the pumpkin or the design way down here because of the V-neck, but I think it turned out okay. So I'm real happy with my blouse. So it's been hanging on the door since I made it last week, right? Wasn't it last week? It's been a while. So I decided to wear it today. And then I went in my closet to see if any of the pants that I had made were still here and not moved to the other house. And I found this pair of pants in there that matches really good. It might not look like it to you, but it does. And I made them years ago using SureFit Designs, and these have a clasp and a zipper. So I put them on, and the clasp came together out here somewhere, and since it's stretchy fabric, I could pull it really hard and make it fit, and I could zip the zipper up, but I couldn't have walked or sat down or anything like that. So I thought, you know what? I am going to try to fix these pants so they'll fit me. One thing that was in these pants that was very helpful was there was 4 darts back here. Usually there's just 2. If I remember right, there's usually just 2. This one had 4. So there were one here and one here, right on each side of the center seam, which isn't centered now. So I decided if I could take the waistband off and remove those 2 darts, that would give me another whole inch. And so now I have plenty of room. I can put my hand down and you can see I have plenty of room. So I removed the waistband for about 8 inches. Totally removed it. It was still sewn on the rest of the way around. I cut out the stitching for those 2 darts. That gave me another whole inch. But then the waistband was too short, obviously. There was a center back seam in the waistband because I had made it a special way for my sway back. And I always make these funny shaped waistbands. But anyway, so I cut it apart and I added this piece of fabric there, see, for the waistband. It doesn't match perfect. It's not the same fabric. I made these 5-6 years ago probably. But it was something. Was it part of this? No, it was part of a backing fabric that I'm moving. I'm actually moving, and I took it out of a moving box and cut a piece out of it and interfaced it and sewed it in here. The pants fit me great. They've even got a little growing room. I've already had my lunch and I haven't grown that much yet, so very, very easy to go in and just take a couple tucks. I do that a lot in my pants. I'll take temporary tucks. Now let me tell you something. If you'll make your pants like I made them, I have a tutorial. I have a whole, what do they call it, playlist of how to make pants with elastic in them. And I think I made pants that they were flat in the front and elastic in the back. Those pants fit me 5 pounds more, 5 pounds less. Those pants fit me in the waist because of the elastic. So I recommend that over zipper and a hook and eye or a button. Yes, when you're my age, you're never the same size 2 days in a row. That's just the way it is. Oh, yes, aging is so much fun because the alternative is way worse. So that's my sewing project of the morning. I'm so proud of myself for taking the time to do it. I'd almost rather make a whole new pair of pants than take one apart and fix it. But that wasn't too bad of a job. So then, looking in my closet, I've been trying to pull out things, even if I made them, that I never wear, and narrow down how many clothes I have. So many tops because I've made dozens and dozens of them. And so, like I made a vest. I never wear vests. Why do I make vests? I never wear them. So I put that in the Goodwill box. I found a couple more things that I made when I was much slimmer, and I don't want to try to make them bigger. You know, you could make them smaller, but you can't make them bigger. So those are in the Goodwill. And this is one that was in the Goodwill. I thought, I never wear that thing. Somebody told me it was ugly and looked like a nightgown back when I made it years ago. So, and I don't like it because it's heavy. See how heavy it is? So I'm going to remodel this. The top is fine, the sleeves are fine. So I'm just going to cut this whole bottom part off and hem it up somehow. So that's going to be my afternoon sewing project. So then when I get that done, I'm going to invent a project for tomorrow. I've been going through my attic, moving my attic up here. We have 3 attics. And the attic up here that's outside my quilt room, over there, the one that makes all the echoes, it has everything in it has to do with quilting. Everything has to do with quilting or sewing. And Christmas decorations. So I don't need that here. I'm not going to be sewing any quilts on my long arm here, so I don't need batting and I don't need wide backs. So that's part of the stuff I have been packing in all these boxes. If I ran the camera around, you'd see there's about 10 or more boxes. So I pulled one out of the backing department in there, and I thought, oh gosh, I love that fabric. I want to make a blouse out of it. And so then I'm like, well, if it's wide backing, is it like inferior in some way? I haven't washed it if it's a backing, so I've got to think about that. So I can throw it in the wash tonight. But it's gorgeous fabric, and it feels just like regular quilting fabric to me. I don't know if it's different or not. In fact, I remember somebody asked Edita Sitar that just recently, because she has a lot of quilt backing fabrics now with her designs on them. And somebody asked her if it was the same quality, and I think she actually said it wasn't. But I don't care. I'm going to make a blouse out of it anyway. So that's going to be my tomorrow project. You know, I brought my cardboard Sure Fit Designs top, you know, that I cut out of the poster board that Philly and I got at Hobby Lobby. I brought that with me. So I'm going to do some kind of a woven blouse tomorrow. Or I could use one of my patterns. I have all those duplicate patterns here. I saved all my duplicates here for this house. So there's a lot of things I could choose. But for now, I'm going to choose to get in there and do something with this top. Maybe I'll wear it in the morning and you can see it. Remember when I used to stand over here? Remember when my turtles used to be up here? And remember when my variegated thread spools? Did you know I did my variegated thread spools before Edita Sitar did hers? I used her pattern, but her pattern had solid thread spools. And I made mine variegated. And then later on, she made hers variegated. I'm not saying she copied me at all. She would never, ever, ever have to do that. But I'm just saying, mine were first. And they were hanging up here. And so now, I have a nail way up there, right under the ceiling, and a nail way up there, right under the ceiling. And I have no idea how I'm ever going to get them down. Well, how did you get them up there? I don't know. I know. Don't you miss your memory? I say that to y'all all the time. All right, I have 2 tips. I've been working on the red blouse, as you know. It's done. I cut the bottom off and I rounded it so it's higher on the hips and lower in the front and the back, you know, rounded. It's in the wash right now because I made a mistake I've made before. I have a mind to throw these purple markers away. You know, the purple markers that you mark with, and then they're supposed to go away in an hour or 24 hours or some amount of hours with air. Well, I think that you're not allowed to ever iron over them, because this has happened to me twice where I've ironed over the purple marks and it sets them in and they won't go away with even water. So I went downstairs and I squirted them all with Shout and scrubbed them, and they're in the wash right now. There, the marks on the red top are in the wash right now. And they did come out with the Shout, so thank goodness. But those friction markers won't do that. You iron those friction markers, and that's kind of the issue with them is you don't want them to go away, and you forget, and you press your hem or you press your whatever, and your marks disappear. So I don't know, it's one tragedy or another. I will go ahead and make my new project blouse in the morning. I will show you how I fix the red blouse in the morning. This is just the same afternoon, and yes, I'm wearing something different because I had a bigger hole in the top of the shirt and I could get it over my head without destroying my hair. When I sew my shirts off on, off on, off on, off on, and my kind of hair is a 1 hairdo a day hairdo. I got a can of hairspray on it. I turned the camera back on for just a second. I realized I didn't give you the second tip. The second tip is don't respond to that spam man. That spam man is back in my comments. And you leave a comment, and underneath your comment, he'll leave a comment telling you how amazing your comment is and how amazing you are and blah, blah, blah. Get rid of that. I don't know if you can remove it, but I can remove it. So when I see him there, I will remove him. And I even said to hide him from my channel. So I don't know if he's still there or not, but just know that that person is spam. I used to get a whole bunch of that years ago, and I don't know what I did that made it go away, but something made it go away. So I'm sure a lot of you know about that, so let me know what you know. And meanwhile, don't believe whatever that guy posts, and don't respond to him, okay? That was the second tip. Good morning, everybody. We're at Saturday again. Can you believe it? Did you used to sit at school, at your desk at school, and they had the big clock up on the wall above the teacher's desk, and you just watched the clock, and 5 minutes took days to go by? You didn't have a cell phone then. Oh my goodness, I used to think, oh, are we ever going to get through with this class? Are we ever going to get to go home? And I was just in here paying bills. I was paying one of the Visa cards, and it wasn't due until October 24. And I thought, oh, I need to make a new payment folder for October. So I went and I found a file folder, and I was marking it 10-2024 because I keep all my bills by the month that I pay them. And it dawned on me, this is the 4th quarter of 2024. I know, my lightning fast mind kicked in. 4th quarter. We moved in to our house in Mounds. If I remember right, it was October 21. This is October 5. So that means we have been in that house a year. Just, no wonder I look so old. Good gravy. I saw something this morning. I get up and I fix my coffee and I get on my computer and I look at, you know, my comments and YouTube and stuff. And this commercial came up on somebody's channel of this girl. She's a redhead and she's real pretty. And they asked her age and she said she was 63. She looks 23. Said she was 63. And it was because of her neck. Her neck and under here and her chin were just perfect. And so you were supposed to listen to this hour-long. I listen to them sometimes and I think, oh, what product are they using? What are they doing? But they go on and on and on and on and on. And if you can't say what you want to say in 5 minutes, I'm not listening to you. But it appeared to be they were like rolling their neck with something. I don't know. Doctor somebody. So, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that to my neck because I don't want to listen to an hour-long video to figure out what you're supposed to do. I always tell Jerry, I said, if it wasn't for my neck and my throat, I wouldn't look like a turkey. Okay, remember I told you yesterday I was fixing my red blouse. The long red blouse that somebody said looked like a nightgown, and it had fringe on the bottom. So this is that same blouse now. And this is the wide back. You can see it's very, very wide. That I put in the washing machine yesterday because I love the print of it. And these are all my colors. Look there. Those are my colors. You're seeing it before I do. Oh, luscious. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to make, but I'm going to make something. And actually, I could make about 10 things with this much fabric. So if I screw up the first one, we'll just make another one until we get it right. It seems like nice fabric to me. This is old. I've had this for ages. Prisms by Studio E Fabrics. I never heard of Studio E Fabrics. Pattern 3049. So that's it. That's what I'm going to do today. Jerry is outside setting up sprinklers to water all the new dirt on his dam that he fixed to settle it. Oh, it's like a dust storm over there when he's on his dozer. And I have another giveaway. I do. Should I do it now? Do you want me to do it now? It's Saturday and tomorrow we have to do Shine on Sunday, so tomorrow's not a good day to choose a winner. So I'm not going to do it yet. But it's a panel, and it's a Christmas panel, and it's super, super cute. And I have the panel and I have the backing that I was going to use for it, or the borders, I don't know. I was, you know, going to give it to Goodwill. And I thought, why am I giving this to Goodwill? It's so cute. Someone will love it. Somebody with little children, because it's, you know, it's childlike. But you'll have to come back. Let me see, are we going to be here Monday? Yes, we're going to be here Monday. And probably go home next Tuesday. So why don't I do the new giveaway on Monday and I'll show you what it is. Yeah, super cute. Let me go work on this for a while and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I've decided to do on this Saturday morning. What time is it? 10:30, 11 o'clock. We'll probably go to town for lunch. If we do, I'll mail the gift to the last winner, to Barbara. I've got it all ready to mail. I just haven't gone to the post office yet. Then I'll come back home and I'll play with this for the afternoon. I'll see you later. It is Sunday now, and the last we talked, I told you I was going to make something out of this 108-inch wide backing. It was unusual trying to figure out how to cut out my pattern pieces because it's so wide. My table's only 70 inches wide. This is 108 inches wide. In half, that's 54. I think that's right, Joy. So I ended up having to fold it in just so far, so it would be the width of how I needed to cut my pattern out on the fold. And then I had to fold in the other side for cutting out the sleeve. So what I decided to make was something that I had already palmer and plushed, which means I had already cut up the paper pattern and inserted the necessary extensions round back. In this case, it's in a yoke. And I have made it 1, 2, 3, 4, this will be 5 times. So I really like this top. It is Simplicity 9274. I'm pretty sure my friend Viv has made this top too. I started out with a size 12 pattern because when I make patterns for myself, I start out with my upper bust measurement. However, my upper bust in this would have been a size 10. So what I did was I measured over from center front to the shoulder, and it came out just fine if I cut it on the size 12. So I went ahead and used the size 12, put the full bust adjustment in it, put the round back in it, whatever else I did to it. I actually came out here to the size 14 here on the side, because we know I need more room on the side. So it's 12 at the top, 14 at the sides. Then I had to take the size, what size sleeve did I cut? Yeah, I had cut a size 12 sleeve already, and that was a mistake because I came out to the 14 on the garment. If you're going to come out to the 14 on the garment under the arm, you've got to come out to 14 on the sleeve. I'd already chopped off the 14, so I just made my own make up something extension, okay? I'm to the point of putting the sleeves in. And I know everybody likes to see me put a sleeve in, I don't know why. So I'll take the camera over there just for something to put on this snippet and show you how I put the sleeve in again. I've already crimped it. Some of you have told me you tried the crimping and it didn't work. Well, try it again. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 or 6 times to perfect something. If you already do your sleeve with the 2 rows of basting stitches and you like to put your sleeve in that way, don't even watch this. You don't need it. If you already have perfected to do it the way the pattern tells you to do it, then just keep doing it that way. I don't know how I learned about this. It's been so many years ago since I started doing the crimping, and I don't remember how I learned it. I don't think it was Louise cutting. It might have been, but I'm not sure it was. But once I learned that, oh, I thought, oh my goodness, that is so much easier. I'm looking up in the sky because I can see I've got a burned out light. I'm going to have to go get sideburns to fix that for me. Let me drag you over to the sewing machine and I'll show you what I'm working on. You want to come? Follow me. This may not be the best angle in the world, but I think you can see me. This garment has a slit on both side seams. The slit's down here at the bottom. So what I do, instead of serging this off together, I serge it off on each side. Does that make sense? First I press it, press it, press it. I press the 5/8 inch open down here because that's how wide the slit's going to be. Now I'm going to serge each flap of the seam allowance because I want it serged. But you want it to be open. Now this isn't the only way you can do this, but this is a good way. Sometimes I'll cut it above the slit, about a 1/2 inch. And then I'll serge the seam together like a normal seam above that. But today I'm doing it this way. Plus, if you do it this way and you gain some weight, you've got 5/8, what is that? You've got at least 1 inch here to let this out. Usually it's me right in the waist, and I could easily let it out right here since I haven't serged this whole thing off. So that's something to think about. I don't ever gain, 30, 40 pounds, but I'm up 5, down 5 constantly. Pardon my phone. My phone never goes off unless I'm talking to you. I'm not kidding. Either that or I just never notice it. I've been downstairs having lunch with Jerry. So, I'll look at that in a minute. And then down there's going to be the slit at the bottom. The sleeves aren't in, but I'm getting ready to put them in. But right now I've got to do this first because this part's going to go inside the sleeve seam. It needs to be finished first. This is a woven. I love the colors in this. All of the colors in this are my very favorite colors. Here's the blue. You see I've got blue and white on today. This one has, I don't think it has blue, but it's got turquoise and dark blue and light blue and black. Oh, so nice. Being a backing, I bet it came in a bunch of different colors too. And who knows what quilt I bought it to put on. There'll be that when I get to that quilt. I used to order backings when they were on sale. And I think, oh, I make a lot of blue quilts. Oh, I make a lot of all different colored quilts. Oh, you can put beige or white behind anything. And I bought all these backings on sale. So now I have backings all over the place. So there's the other side. So let's go put the sleeve in. You want to come over there now? Well, here's my top. Sleeve hole. Sleeve hole. The blouse is inside out. You always start with your blouse inside out, and you start with your sleeve right side out. The sleeve has 1 notch, which means I go in the front, and on the other side it has 2 notches, which mean I go in the back. The seam under the arm matches up with the seam under the arm. That's pretty easy to remember. So I'm going to maybe put it in this hole, depending where the notches line up. So let's fold it like it's going to go in here. Over here I've got 2 notches, and over here I've got a single. Now, I don't know if I have ever in my whole entire life picked up the right sleeve the first time. But whatever, get the other sleeve. Turn the blouse around or get the other sleeve. You can see here at the top of the sleeve how it is crimped. I think you can see it better in here. See how it's crimped? It is so gentle and so easy. Oh, I just love to do my sleeve that way. We're going to put the sleeve in right side out inside the hole. In the hole. There we go. We're in the hole. Now this is the seam of the garment. This is the seam of the sleeve. They go together. The seam of the garment, if it was an actual seam sewn together, would go toward the back. So the seam here in the sleeve is going to go toward the front. Because down at the bottom of the sleeve, where I already hemmed the sleeve, or started to hem it, I have that seam turned toward the front. The front of the blouse. The front of the sleeve. All right, so now I'm going to start pinning it together. I always start there. Find the clip that says I'm the center top of the sleeve, and find the shoulder seam of the blouse and put them together. Match them up. Put a pin. Now remember what I taught you about pins. And it doesn't mean you have to do it this way. You do it however you want to. This is how I do it. The seam is 5/8 inch. So I go about 5/8 inch. I put the pin in and I take a tiny bite. See how little that bite is? So this isn't going to slide up and down on that pin. If you take the pin and you put it in like this, it can move. It can slide back and forth. Look, it can move a lot. So I take a little bite sorry, I got you close up, at the 5/8 inch seam line. Because we're going to sew this at 5/8 inch. Now look at this, how it fits already. Look at that. It just, from those two seams, that sleeve fits in there perfect already. No pulling out gathers, no putting in more gathers. It just already fits. Oh. Sometimes I might have to pull 1 or 2 stitches out, but very rarely. And it doesn't matter if you do, it doesn't hurt anything. So I'm going to pin this in all the way, 5/8 inch, little bite. There is the single notch on the garment, single notch on the sleeve. Put them together. Sometimes they match, sometimes they don't. But make sure you don't have a double and a single. When I do adjustments in the sleeve or the cap, sometimes I get the notch put back in a little bit off. Sorry if you can't see this real good. Here's this side now. Look at how the sleeve fits in here. Let's look. Look. Perfect. It fits perfect already. Ah, and I've got double notch on the garment, double notch on the sleeve. Put them together. Let's see if these two line up. These two are 1/4 inch off too. That's okay, don't worry about it. When you do fixes like I do, all of these fitting fixes, I don't pay a lot of attention to the notches. 5/8 inch, little bite. There's the back. Yoga. The back yoga. It's not a yoga, Joy, it's a yoke. The back yoke. Five-eighths inch, little bite. 5/8 inch, little. Get it up here where they can see it, Joy. 5/8 inch, little bite. 5/8 inch, little bite. And it's like I didn't even gather it. I mean, there's no lumps, there's no bumps. It's just smooth. With that crimping method, it's just smooth, y'all. Look at that. It's just so smooth. Not having to deal with all those gathers and pull strings in and out. I just want you to see how nice that sleeve fits in there with very little gathering and lumps and bumps. Look at that. I'm going to sew it on this side, on the garment side, and the crimped side is going to be down. I've got my arm off the machine. I saw somebody sewing a whole garment the other day with this little table off of the arm. I thought, oh my goodness, how can they sew like that? But I sew like that when I'm putting a circle up here on the arm. That's what it's for. Great for sleeves. All right, 5/8 inch. I'm not going to put my easy feed foot. Let's put it back on normal stitch and not 4.0. 4.0 is what I sewed the crimping with. 5/8 inch. Now go slow. Remember, your fingers are your best tools. 5/8 inches right here. Pull the pins out. Don't sew over them. My machine can sew over a pin, but not always. And you never know what day and what garment it's going to choose to suddenly hit the pin with that needle. See, that just sewed over the pin, no problem. But I don't sew over them unless I forget or I got there too fast. 5/8 inch. Now if you were sewing somebody else's patterns, Peggy Sager's are 3/8 inch. A lot of knit patterns are 1/4 inch. Bit nice pattern. You sewed over another pin, I know. Bit nice patterns are 1/2 inch. Why don't they all do it the same? I don't know. I can't answer all these hard questions. I just can tell you why I do what I do. Every once in a while I back up, especially if I come to 2 seams sitting there next to each other. I'll do a few back stitches. And I'm just on the regular machine stitch, 2.5. Watch out that you don't go off your 5/8 inch. Back up again. You don't have to back up, but I do. I figure if that seam starts to rip out under the arm, at least it won't rip very far. Now that pin was totally sideways, so that probably would have hit the pin. Now I'm all the way around. Let's see if I have any crimps or pleats or issues. Cut off your threads, cut off your threads, cut off your threads. Nothing screams homemade like threads hanging around. Cut off your threads. Okay, let's look and see. Any crimps? Any blips? Any crimps? Any folds? Yes, Joy, but that's the side you sewed on. Turn it around. Look. Smooth as glass. Smooth as glass. Why are there 2 seams there? Because one of them's a crimping seam. The crimping seam, I do at 1/2 inch. Sometimes it jumps forward or back a little bit. Doesn't matter. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Can you see? There's nothing. There's just nothing. This is in perfect. It's in absolutely perfect. You don't have to pull out that crimping stitch. You just leave it in there forever and ever. I'm going to serge this all the way around. I do not clip my armhole. My friend Philly clips her armholes. I don't know why. I heard Peggy, I think it was, say you don't have to clip an armhole. It's a circle and you want it to stay in a circle. And, you know, it pulls pretty flat already. So all I do is serge it. And then that cuts off, you know, 1/4 to 3/8 inch off the edge of that. So you don't need to watch me do that again. Let me turn it inside out and I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. I know some of you have tried this and said, it didn't work for me. Well, all I can say is, I never have a problem with it. Look at that. Now you could have a problem if you've done some adjustments or if you've made your own pattern. You could have the problem that your sleeve has too much ease. If your sleeve is too much bigger around, then you will have problems with lumps and bumps. You should have a 1/2 inch ease on the front and a 1/2 inch ease on the back. Somebody might tell you 3/8 and a 1/2 inch. Somebody might tell you 3/8 and 3/8. But if you have over an inch ease in the whole sleeve, I would say you need to refigure it. And that way you won't get lumps and bumps when you're putting the sleeve in the garment. I'm going to go ahead and finish making this and then I'll put it on and show you what it looks like. So here it is, all done. There's an issue I still have to fix. Can you see what it is? It probably wouldn't bother you. And it probably wouldn't bother your next door neighbor. But it bothers me. I took this shoulder in a 1/2 inch because this shoulder is 1/2 inch lower than that shoulder. I lowered the underarm a 1/2 inch. But when I did that, I narrowed it to nothing here at the point because my neck is supposed to be the same on both sides, but evidently it isn't. So I have this hump. On this side, no hump. No hump or bump. How's the back look? I haven't looked at the back yet. Here's the little slits in the side. Yeah, it's very roomy. It's got big pleats here in the sleeve, which is one of the things I like about it. I can't believe that sticks up like that. That is just wild. I've never taken it in. Of course, the thing about it is this doesn't come to my neck. So that's the problem. If it came to my neck, look, it's like 2 or 3 inches from my neck. So that's why that should have been taken in there as well. My boo-boo. I should have known that. I should have known it. I can't really do a twirl, but I want to. I'll be back. Okay, fixed. Taking it in. I haven't understitched it yet and made it permanent, but I took it in a 1/2 inch right there. And so now it lays down a whole lot better than it did. You see this pleat back here? It starts up there in the yoke. I don't know, it doesn't tell you to press it, and I pressed it part of the way down. I'm wondering if you're supposed to press it the whole way down or if you're not supposed to press it at all. Tell me what y'all think about that, because it does not say in the directions. And I'll tell you something else I don't like. And this is the way it is even in the picture on the envelope. This part of the sleeve hangs down lower than this part of the sleeve. What's that about? What is that about? I don't like that. I've seen that in a lot of styles on the pattern envelopes. I like it very much, and you know what pattern it is because it's in the description box or it's in the title or it's someplace. I've made it so many times I have to know it by heart. This is number 5. Yeah, cute. I really do like this pattern. I might wear it tomorrow with some black pants. This is Monday morning. As I was editing this, I could hear what y'all were thinking. Isn't that amazing? When I was out here and I was showing you this blouse, I could hear you thinking, good grief, you look like a Goodyear blimp in that. Some of you said I look like one of those big black and white veils down there at SeaWorld. So I fixed it. I fixed it. Looky here now. Look at the difference. Huh? Yes. Why do they put those giant pleats in the back of the blouse? What is that for? Again, I think it must be for fabric that's very slinky, so it doesn't open up and fill up with air, so you don't look like a giant cocoon or something. I don't know. Oh my goodness, I watched this YouTube the other night. You know, I'm always watching YouTube. I couldn't even tell you what's on TV anymore. And it was how they get silk out of silkworms. Y'all have to watch that. I was just in utter amazement of what they can do with a worm. You know, before they can get the silk, the worm has to turn into a cocoon. And the silk comes from the cocoon. Amazing. Of course, made in China or Japan. You know, nothing's made in America anymore. But oh my goodness, that was very interesting. So I guess that's why I look like a cocoon on my brain. So tell me what you think of the new way I did it. I'm going to take the pleat completely out of the pattern. And when you have a center back seam, you can take it in at the waist, see? So isn't that nice? No darts. No darts in the front, no darts in the back, but I just took it in right here, this area. So I like it so much better now. So the first 4 that I made, when I get back to the other house, I will probably do the same thing to all 4 of those. Because I can fit in it just fine. You know, that was all extra fabric put in there as big pleats. And the pattern fits you without the pleats. Well, it should fit you without the pleats or you've got the wrong size. So, tell me what you think about that. I'll let you go. I'm finishing this right here. I did go back while I was editing and cut out a whole bunch of what I said to you. about some things in our nation. So you can thank me for that later. Love you guys. I'll be back soon.